What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Pba Pickum Preview Show. I want to thank you all for joining us. And today, to lead us through the Roth-Holman Doubles Championships Pick'em Contest questions is none other than the busiest man alive, hands down the busiest man I've ever met. I mean, guy's just got his hands in everything. He's doing everything possible. The one and only Josh Blanchard. JB, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. I know it's an early morning. I saw you sipping on some OJ. I'm glad that you're getting the juices flowing this morning. What have you been up to, real quick, before we dive into these questions here?
Just been busy getting everything ready for the PBA season out here on the West Coast. Getting ready with next month. We have 2 events in Hawaii, so exciting for our regional players. But other than that, just trying to corral our 3 kids here while they're on spring break.
You know, something interesting I learned recently was that, whenever Adam Sandler films a movie, he always picks a really tropical destination or some really cool spot to go film at so he can bring his family, and then they turn it into a vacation. So I see what you're doing here, JV. I see what you're doing, these regionals in Hawaii, man. I see what you got going on there. But that's really exciting, really cool. How have the events been going so far this year?
They've been great. We've had a few earlier the year. We're a little slower, but in summer we pick up and ramp up really big as the weather gets better. As right now, our attendance has been up about 40% in entries.
Wow!
So it's been great. The PBA is really on an uptick right now, and we'll hopefully continue that trend into the summer.
Absolutely, man. Well, that sounds really exciting. So, JB, what we've got here, I'm going to throw this up on the screen. We've got our PBA Pick'em contest for this week. As you guys can see, we've got all the contests up right now for all the World Series of Bowling events. You can do complete the questions for any of the events throughout the World Series. Really simply, go to pbapickum.com, you create an account, and then you play. It's completely free, and each contest we will have a jackpot prize of $10,000, and you can win that $10,000 if you get all the questions right. But if you don't get all the questions right, we still have some amazing prizes that we're giving away from us, Strikeforce, from Bolero. So there's a lot of really cool opportunities going on here. As you guys can see, we've got a little under 2 hours to get your picks in for this week's event. So there's still plenty of time. Make sure you go get in there. And then obviously, after you submit your picks, if you want to make a change, if you feel like, maybe the scores will be a little higher, I'm going to make a last-minute substitution for my picks, you guys can go ahead and edit your picks. So, Josh, you're ready to go in here, answer the 10 questions, and see how many you can get right this week?
We'll see. I only got 6 right last week, so hopefully it'll be better.
All right. Hopefully it'll be better this time around here. Let's go in and let's play the contest. First question here, Josh. Who will win the first match, Smallwood and Sterner or Tackett and Kent?
I believe this is going to be Tackett and Kent pretty heavily.
Pretty heavily, because and they've got experience on the show together here, right? I mean, they've got kind of that, Tackett and Kent have that chemistry they're going on. So you think they're going to grab that first match there? Perfect. Moving on. How many strikes are going to be thrown in match number 2, both teams combined?
So that would be against Rash and Ogle.
Yep.
This one I think is actually going to be kind of the transition game, so it's kind of a medium. I'm gonna go with 8 strikes.
Ooh, so you're thinking a low-scoring game here. I like
Lower.
it. Yep. I like it for sure. Next question: how many splits will be left throughout the entire stepladder?
I'm going with 3 splits.
3 splits. There we go. Next question here. We've got, what will be the overall average of all games bowled throughout the stepladder? I'll preface it, or I'll give you some insight. Last week, the answer was 211 to 215.
Mm-hmm. And last week I guessed a little higher. I didn't expect the championship game to be as low as it was last week. That was the one that really threw me off. But they are changing bays this week to shoot the TV show, so it's not in the exact same bay. So the bay they're going to, what I would consider, is a little harder.
Okay.
And especially with the blue oil. The blue oil is not very good with urethane.
Interesting.
And a couple of these teams used urethane. So I'm actually going to go with the 206 to 210.
Oh, low scoring. And before we get into the next question, JB, talk a little bit about how does the scoring pace change, right? During qualifying, we saw some really high scores this week. But then you get into match play, and then obviously television show, you're talking about all these different factors. And then you throw in the fact that it also goes to Baker instead of, throughout qualifying where everybody's bowling complete games. And then you get on television as Baker. How does that change things?
Yeah, Baker can slow down the scoring pace a lot faster too because you only get 5 shots.
Right.
Not like you can recover yourself physically, or if you have kind of bad ball reaction. It's not like you have a bunch of frames to switch. He's kind of all for it. In Baker, I see either high scores or kind of the 190 to 2-0 scores. It's really rare you see a 210 to 220 game because either both guys have it or there's one guy that doesn't have it and one guy that has it. And then at that point, there's no doubles being thrown. And so really 210 is your highest score if that person spared every frame and the other guy struck every frame. So that's where Baker comes into play. And it's the team who picks their person who finishes the best, I think, is the one who actually has the best chance to win here.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we saw that this week with, A.J. Johnson, Tim Mack had an incredible showing. They came out and bowled back-to-back 300 games during match play. And then later in that same block, they had, I think a 150 or a 160 game. And just goes to show, right? There are really, really big highs and there are some really low lows as well. So you got to be able to manage those. All right, moving on here to the next question, folks. How many spares will be missed throughout the entire step ladder? Last week, the answer was 4 to 5.
I got picked 0 to 1 last week, so I give you guys too much credit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. I'll split the difference. I'm gonna go with 2 to 3.
2 to 3. And I think it's another interesting thing here, right? Baker, it changes everything, right? When you're bowling every shot, every frame, and you get into the mojo, I feel like it may be easier to make some spares than when you're sitting on the bench. The other team throws both their shots, then your teammate throws his shot, and then you go up there. And if you leave a split or if you leave a spare, right? I mean, I feel like it's harder to get feel to stay loose and to be lineman to make those spares.
The person who has to sit and finish 5th, the team who sits 5th, and then goes into commercial break, that bowler, that anchor bowler there, I think it is almost a 10-minute break between your shots.
Wow.
If I remember right. I've been on this show before, and so that person sits a long time, and it's not easy just to sit up and go up and throw a cold shot after 10 minutes. Not like you get any warm-up or anything, so that's a really tough shot to be in.
Yeah, and to one more thing before we move on to the next question, having some experience on this show, what is the practice situation like on the pair, right? Because it's not just like you're warming up for a normal show where there's only 5 guys. Now you're throwing in an extra 5 guys. Does everybody still get the same amount of practice shots? Does that lead to the lanes transitioning a little bit more and making them a little bit tougher?
Yeah, you'll get the same amount as you come on. The leaders will get 8 shots, so it'll be 8 each. And so there's a lot more wear and tear to the lanes. Usually it breaks down a little more. But at the end of the day, you're really probably only going to practice on one lane. If you're a strategic team, this guy's going to bowl in the left lane, this guy's going to bowl in the right lane, and you're never going to flip-flop because that could really mess up how the oil is breaking down on the specific lane for the team.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. All right, moving on here to the next question. How many strikes are going to be bowled in match 3? You had 8 in match 2. Do you think match 3 is going to be a little bit higher scoring here?
Yeah, I'm going to go with 12.
12. Okay. 12 it is. Next question. Will there be a game bowled over 259 during the step ladder?
I'm going to go with no.
No.
Last week there was.
There was a big 270 game from Dom. And, we went on, somebody said in the comments last week while we were doing the live stream commentary, will there be a 300 game? And we're like, no, nobody's, throwing more than a triple. And then Dom comes out and he ripped off the first 7 or 8 strikes. And it looked like
I'm going to give the viewers a little tip on this one.
Okay.
I could see maybe a 258, but not a 259 because of it's a Baker. If this person, the opposite frame bowler, happens to spare in 2 frames, they cannot get to 259 or higher.
It's almost like the person making these questions knows a little bit of bowling knowledge. I'm not trying to lose my job just yet here, folks. I got to keep it a little tough on you. Last week we did have somebody get 8 out of 10 questions right, 2 questions away from the jackpot prize on the first ever event. It was amazing. It was really exciting to watch. Next question here. What will be the margin of victory in the title match? Last week it was 21 to 25 pins. It was pretty much over going into the 9th and 10th frame. What do you think is going to happen this time around?
Yeah, this is a tough one because it depends if the match is close or not. What's going to happen? The person who's winning could not care in the 10th frame and go off. So This is the hardest question, I believe. I'm going to go with 16-20.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Once we get a couple of events in here, we're gonna put our own version together of bad beats, because what people don't realize is, right, is in the game could be over by 60, and somebody could go up and change balls in the 10th frame and leave a 10 pin, and then change balls again in the fill and not even shoot the spare, and it affects the pick'em contest, right? And so everything really does matter here. So let's go on to the next thing here. Who do you think is going to win today, Josh?
I believe that this is going to be a Ration Ogle day.
A Ration Ogle day. They're going to repeat. They're going to win once again.
I believe so. I like their chances. I think it's going to be a Rash Ogle and an Archer Maldonado title match.
That would be great. That would be a really exciting match for sure. And last but not least here, what will be the winning score in the title match?
I've gone back and forth on this one, but I think I'm going to stick with 237.
237. I love it. I dig it. Click submit here. Josh, your picks are in. Quick review here. Tackett Kent with the win in the first match. 8 strikes in the second match combined. 3 splits left throughout the telecast. The overall average for the telecast, 206 to 210. How many spares will be missed? 2 to 3. 12 strikes thrown in the third match. No games bowled over 259. 16 to 20 pin margin of victory for Ration Ogle. And then they will bowl 237 in the title match. As always, guys, if you want to go ahead and edit your picks, you can go right here to the My Picks section, and you can go to the top, click here to edit your picks. You can click there, change any of your submissions there. And then, of course, you can scroll down here to the leaderboard, click to see yourself on the leaderboard. And then here we see Josh is in 328th place. Tied for first, though. You're still tied for first right now.
I got a chance.
You got a chance, my man. Well, Josh, thank you so much for coming on this morning. I really appreciate it. We're excited to have you on later today to talk some bowling during the live commentary that we have, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your time, dude. And we'll talk to you again later.
All right. We'll see you in a couple hours.
All right. See you in a bit. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
All right, folks. Well, there you have it. Episode 2 of the PBA Pick'em preview show in the books there. Make sure you guys go to pbapickum.com, get your picks in. You have up until 10 minutes before the show starts to get your picks in here. I'm just going to go back to the homepage. You guys have got 1 hour and 32 minutes and 28 seconds to get your picks in. So make sure you guys go pbapickum.com, create your account, get your picks in, do all that good stuff, and then get your picks in for all the other World Series of Bowling events that we got on there. Thanks, guys. Make sure you tune in 12 p.m. Eastern. Josh will be joining us again for some live commentary. We'll see you all then. Take care.